Okay, so a lot of things have happened since my last video. I was able to weld up my A-arms, and they're all welded up, as well as the cage for the differential, the FabTech lift. As you can tell, the tire there's leaning a little bit with the camber. When I make the A-arms longer, I will fix that. And then I also set it up as a 5% degree there, 5 degrees on the knuckle. So what I have found out with, as I built it, is the tire here, when it turns in with all of its, when it's compressed down, it's probably about I don't know, probably an inch away from that body panel, but these are only like 34-inch tires. So when I get 35s, hopefully they're true 35s, then it'll get really close to that. The only bad thing is, though, when I curve this all the way up, my steering is there. When I turn this all the way over and it compresses, it does hit that right here, but you know, the wheel well is right there, so there's nothing I can do. So I guess I'll just race with it. Then when it smashes it, hopefully it doesn't pop my tire when I go on full compression. But with that said, this is going to be sitting about 6 inches higher maybe, or no, maybe about 4 inches. I don't know, I guess you say 4 to 6 inches higher. So hopefully when it does full droop and compresses, that it will allow the suspension to move. Okay, so this video is dedicated to this right here. This is the key to everything on this build. It is the Real Lift torsion bar relocation kit. And these are my torsion bars. I painted them orange because I really want them to stick out. If it was not for this King of the Hammers build could not be possible. So everything is based around these keys right here, and I picked them up from Jeremiah down in Arizona from Real Lift, and he hooked me up. So that is going to relocate the torsion bars up inside the frame and get it away from the rocks. And here's the cross member for the torsion bars. I'm going to have to cut a few inches out of that, I imagine, when I hook it up, when I put the torsion bars in. So the block here is under the blazer to kind of give you an idea of ride height. It's probably going to ride, yeah, like I said, about 4 inches higher once the long arm suspension's in. And as it sits now, it's about 18 inches if I raise it, you know, as it sits now. But from the center there, the diff is a little different, but I'm pretty impressed with that. So that's where I am at so far. I'm going to buy some uniballs and drill out the knuckles. That's what I've decided. I'm going to keep the FabTech knuckles. They are quite large and long, which is going to be very good to help with the leverage and torque that's going to be occurring on these A-arms, because it is so tall. Should be able to stand up very well, and the knuckle is huge, so that's going to work. But it all came together. I welded it all in with the GM dimensions of 15 inches gap in the back and 17 on the front with a 5% angle, and I think it'll work. So pretty excited. It seems like it all went together well. If you are going to build one of these S10s, the 5 1/4 diff, there's something that I addressed before, but this bolt back here, right there, is really close to the mount of the diff. So it has to be basically this distance, which is 27, I believe, inches from here to over there. So it basically where it sits is where it has to be, unless it's redesigned something totally different and we rip out this stock cross member right here. Then you can do whatever you want, but as it is for King of the Hammers, stock one has to stay. I did get a little overzealous. This is another thing I wanted to talk about. I cut this fender up right here, and I actually shouldn't have, because the tire's never going to be up that high, and I do have another fender, so I'll keep it. But this fender here shows basically the trim is that all you have to do. You can keep the stock fender, and then you just have to trim the front here, and then you have to trim the back right there to fit 35-inch tires under steering compression. So, but another thing that I've decided, probably because for the sake of money, I would absolutely love to have an ARB locker or just some sort of selectable locker for that diff right there. But because I don't have $1,000, I'm most likely going to just weld it up, make it a Lincoln locker. So it's a whole lot cheaper, but and then just keep it fully locked front and rear. But I thought about, I really wanted to make this like a daily driver where I could just drive it around and race it, but for the sake of money, I think that's just what I'm gonna do right now. So that's it for this section of the video, and I will rip out the old torsion bar. Oh, I'll show you those locations actually before I start ripping it out. Okay, so this is the stock S10 torsion bar. It's still in the location. It's actually probably going to be a little bit higher, like right about there. It's about stock for the torsion. So I think that's about where it's going to end up being. So the old frame I am utilizing, using these pieces to weld in the IFS. So if you do this, try to keep the frame, and it'll give you some flat metal to do your fab work as you go. So I highly recommend keeping these. You know, when I first put it in, I know it's not in all the way, and that's just the S10 torsion bar. I'm just kind of doing a mock-up. I was first scared because I thought it was going to be hitting the frame right there. So I put it all the way down, and it's not. I was thinking that we might need to make that just a little bit shorter, but judging by how everything looks, I think it's gonna work absolutely perfect. I am pretty excited, holy hell. So the passenger side works absolutely perfect. There's even room, like if I want to have it droop more, there's a good, I don't know, inch right there to the frame. So where it can touch here. Let's see if I can get a better look at it for you. Oh yeah, it's even more than that. But I think that's gonna work perfect, even with full droop. So we'll check the driver's side, see if it is any different, because this cross member here is different. That one goes up, and then that one goes up, and this one's down. Oh, it probably should be fine. It should be completely fine. So here's the S10 torsion bar at 51¼ length. Kind of get an idea of how big and small it is. The black makes it look a lot smaller than what it actually is. But and then this is 54 inches. So I have 2 inch and 3/4, 2 3/4 inch to lengthen the mount for the other side of the torsion bar. Battery's dead on the mic, but it'll kind of get you an idea with the side here. So it's 1 and 1.1 of an inch, and from the S10, and the 3/4 ton is about 1.45, so almost 1.5 inches. So it's like 3/100 of an inch larger in diameter there. Not diameter, but the well, it's actually 1.2, almost almost 1.2 and 1.4, so 0.2 of an inch.
Okay, all that stuff yucky.
It's all yucky?
Huh?
All right. All right, so it's been a while since I did the last video in this series that you're watching, but I do have the torsion bars up. There's both of them right there. And what I ended up doing is I took that 3/4 ton, this is the S10 right here, torsion bar cross member, and I had to cut I think about 4 inches off of the 3/4 tons cross member, and then I also had to mount, because there are mounts right here on top, and then attach that to the frame, and they had the rubber gussets in there, and I'll show it to you right now. It is, see if you got enough light. There it is right there. So it is the 3/4. Oh, there's a couple things I need to mention. So the drive line goes through right there, and I'm going to be using a slip yoke eliminator kit, and so that slip yoke right there is going to be removed, and then there'll be U-joints right here. So I need to have enough room for the drive line when it articulates, and I put in a lot of support all through there to beef it up. And then also the muffler goes through there, so I had to cut that back a little bit too. But you can see where I painted there, that's where I mounted it there, mounted it there. So that's it, and there's plenty of room for everything else. And this is going to be moved up more. You can see this is the factory cross member. I was really worried about that torsion bar not being able to go through there, but actually it matches up perfectly. I'm pretty excited about that, how all that works out. But this is actually going to be lifted up more. It's touching right here just because it's laying there, but it's actually going to lift up more, so that space up top, it's more bigger than the bottom, will be used for the movement of the torsion bar. So that's it. See, in Idaho there are many Chevrolets, half tons, 3/4 tons, lifted, and this is what you got. Torsion bars hanging down to get ripped off by rocks and obstacles. So real lift, this is what they fix. They move that torsion bar up inside the frame. And so this is why real lift was invented, to remove that. So I'm dedicating this video to real lift, for if it wasn't for Jeremiah and real lift, then this build would not be possible. And I have all the torsion bars in, and I'll put a placard for real lift right there, so when you see me out racing, you'll see what is responsible for this. And I painted it in bright orange so that it can be seen. So the next video, I'm going to tackle the A-arms. I'm gonna pull the spindles off and throw in the axles, and figure out exactly how far I have to push out that bottom joint right there, and where I'm going to put a uniball, and that's where I'm at from here. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you guys soon.